Would you take a second wife?
You want to get me in? It's hot in here. What? Why are you asking me?
Some women don't mind.
I'm sweating.
Well, no, some women don't mind.
Kind of stuff we got going on here.
It's a part of the culture. Some people have multiple wives. No? Okay, well, I'm going to take that as a no. I mean...
Well, as a man, no, I wouldn't mind.
Is that something you all have discussed or no?
Yes, we have discussed it. Okay. And it's a no.
It's a no.
For my wife.
These stories where they're like, yeah, as soon as they got their green card and came to America, they disappeared on me, cheated on me, and left me.
It's unfortunate, but that does happen, and it seems to be mostly men that do that to American women. But I have heard stories of Nigerian men that take their Nigerian wives abroad and their wives leave them. But I don't hear stories about Nigerian women leaving foreign men.
What's up, you guys? It has been a while, but I have a gym here today, and we are getting into it. We're going to have some fun today. So I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell you a little bit about himself. Usually I have ladies on this channel, so when I do find like a male, especially who's on this continent, I'm so curious to like know what's up, get into their brains, and really see what's going on. And we love black men. This is a good, safe space for black men. So today I'm really looking forward to having you. Share your story, share advice. There's so many wonderful black men who want to travel out and live abroad. So I just thank you for being here and being open.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself just real quickly. Like, who are you?
My name is Lamonts. It's spelled Lamonts, Lemans.
Okay.
The actual pronunciation is Lamonts.
Lamonts.
Yeah, it's French. It's French.
Okay. Who named you?
My mother.
Okay.
Yes. And so Lamonts is actually a car, a Pontiac car. They stopped making it around like 1988, 1989, around the time I was born. So you wouldn't see a Pontiac Lamonts anymore.
Your mama had one?
Nope.
Wanted one?
Yes. I guess. She liked the name. I don't know. I didn't ask her why she named me Lamonts.
I feel it.
And so...
Sometimes you just gotta go with the flow.
It's also, you can also see Lamonts on tires. In the United States, there's tires with the name Lamonts on it, Lemans. Okay. It's a famous race car, the Le Mans race car. Okay. It's a racetrack in France. Le Mans racetrack.
So it's popular.
Yes, it's also a town in France.
Wow.
It's also a town in France. Yeah. So I see my name in lights.
I see
Le Mans runner. What's up?
I love that.
What's up, everybody?
For you. Okay. Have you ever been to France?
I'm not sure. It might have been a layover, an airport layover. But coming off them flights with the alcohol and being in the layovers, being so tired, you don't even know where you've been at.
Maybe a couple times I've been there.
Right.
Yeah.
I think France was a stop, but I'm not sure. I had to check my itinerary from years ago.
Okay. So your name is Lamonts.
Lamonts runner. Lamonts runner.
Give me your hand.
Why?
Give me your hand. I'm gonna guess your zodiac sign.
Okay.
Libra.
Nope.
Damn. Okay, give me 3 times.
Okay.
Are you in the first half of the year or the second?
Third.
No, the first half or the second.
Oh.
Which side? Are you in the January to June or the July to December? Okay,
second.
So the second half. Scorpio.
No.
Oh my God. Sag.
No.
What are you?
I'm a Virgo.
Oh my God, I was so close when I said Libra.
Oh yeah, you were.
Yeah. Okay, so you're a Virgo. I'm a Cancer. Mm-hmm. So
I'm not really in the zodiac, so I don't really know. Like when you said Libra, it didn't occur to me how close it was to Virgo. Okay. But you are right. Yeah.
I feel it. So you're a Virgo. How long have you been in Nigeria?
4 years, 5 months. So 4.5 years.
So let's just start off. I want to know, where did your love for the continent go? Like, how did you get here? Where did it come from?
Okay.
How did you get here? What lead me into, most people romanticize and fantasize about coming to the continent, make a plan and then come. How did you end up in Nigeria?
Okay. I started with religion.
Okay.
It started with religion, and I decided to take a step back from the normal religions that we know, such as Christianity. I come from a Christian background, and so I decided to take a step back from that because I started having doubts. I was listening. It was the devil's whisper that got into my ear and started telling me lies and things that, you know, was believable about, like, how would you know if this is true just because the Bible says it? Stupid stuff like that. You know what I mean? The devil's whisper.
Yeah.
So, you know, then I was like, then it was like, oh, how do you know that Jesus even existed? You know, no one was there to know this. This is a white man's religion. They gave this to you guys to keep control of you.
Okay.
Type stuff, right?
So you just started questioning Christianity.
Yes.
You grew up as a Christian.
Yes.
Did you go to church?
Yes.
Where did you grow up?
Coatesville, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So it's about an hour away from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Chester County.
Just normal Christian household, mom, dad, vibes.
No, just my aunt. Was raised by my aunt, my mom's sister. My mother really struggled in life. She really struggled with physical health and mental health. My father didn't care to be there, and so
you had a strong aunt presence. Yeah.
Yes.
And she was religious, Christian.
No, my grandmother was.
Okay.
So it was my grandmother that influenced me to even want to pursue going to church. So I decided to take a step back from Christianity, and, you know, I started asking questions, and I realized I was like, just by asking a simple question, I felt like I could combat Christianity and combat the truth about the Bible, and just, you know, just by asking a question. So, you know, so I said, well, if I take a step back from Christianity, not only that, I was listening to speakers like Ray Hagins, Anthony Browder, Pan-African speakers. What is the guy's name? That's Carson. You know, the guy Carson. The black guy that talks about Anunnaki and stuff like that. I don't even.
To be honest, I'm not even in that realm. I'm kind of a loser when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm like on the surface I'm a fake Pan-Africanist, like stopping at Marcus Garvey vibe.
But Ray Hagins had a big influence. His old content. Like, when I listen to his new content now, it seems like he's traditional Christian now. He doesn't talk about the Council of Nicaea anymore. How in the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, how they put all the Bibles on the table, and what was it? The Catholic Church put all the Bibles on the table. They left it there overnight and said, if God wants these books in the Bible, then they will be there. If he doesn't want these books in the Bible, they will be missing. And it was like a whole conspiracy. If someone broke into that location to take Bibles off the table, you know, and stuff like that. 325 Council of Nicaea.
So do you not believe, because, you know, some people say, like, oh, the Ethiopian Bible is the only true Bible and all that. Like, how does that fit into?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Because as I went on this journey, I realized that it was too much information.
Where are you getting this information from?
YouTube, the internet.
Okay. How old are you during this
Social
time?
media, anywhere. This was 2018.
Okay.
So I'm 35 now, and it's 2024. So 6 years ago.
About 6 years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was 28.
Okay. So where were you in life at that time? So you start researching, like, are you
at that time I was
working a 9 to 5 and post college? Like, what is it looking like for you?
At that time I was in and out of homeless shelters. I had been to every homeless shelter in my county. I had even ended up making my way to Philadelphia shelters, but the Philadelphia shelters were were too unbearable for me. Coming from Chester County and Coatesville, where the shelters were.
What led you into homeless shelters?
Being a one of those kids that you don't belong to anymore. My aunt was taking care of me, but I didn't belong to her. So if I had an issue with something as a young man, there was nothing that she could really do, to change my mind about something. So I would run away, or she would even kick me out.
What about like college grants? I know that sometimes people will say the less help you have, the more help you get. Almost like with wardens of the state, college grants, Pell grants, and these things, like were you not able to take advantage of the public assistance, or was that not working for you?
I dropped out of high school in the 9th grade. I repeated. I was held back twice.
Okay.
I kept getting suspended and for fighting. Kept on fighting a certain gang of kids, and it was just me on my own. I was like being bullied.
Okay.
And no teacher in my school district, coastal area school district, said this kid needs help.
Yeah.
He's struggling. I was failing. But I was smart. But I was
failing. It predominantly black?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I was sleeping in class because I was getting hot. I was smoking weed. I was sleeping in class. I was failing. I wasn't doing homework. I was fighting and constantly getting suspended. No teacher, no guidance counselor said, look, we need to pull this kid aside and get him some tutoring, get him some help, and figure out what's going on.
It's a major problem.
So I ended up getting held back twice, and eventually I dropped out.
It sounds like depression. You were depressed.
I didn't know. I didn't even get told to get mental help at that age.
Was your aunt just like unable to reach you at this time emotionally, or?
My aunt was taking care of me, my brother, my sister, my cousin Dwayne from another aunt, and she had 2 daughters of her own. So it was all of us. Yeah. Sometimes my oldest cousin had a girlfriend staying there, so she let my oldest cousin have a girlfriend there because he was like 9 years older than us,
yeah.
10 years older than us, and she had a guy there for herself to make her feel loved.
So it was just a lot going on.
My grandmom was there.
Yeah.
All of us in one house.
Okay. So it was easy for you to get lost in the mix.
Yeah, and I wanted to smoke weed. I wanted to kind of run the streets. I wanted to hang with my boys. I wanted to mess with girls. I was trying to stay in football, but I couldn't remain eligible once I hit 9th grade. I couldn't remain eligible because of my
failing grades.
Yes.
Now that you're an adult, you're here in Nigeria, you've lived. What would you have done differently at that age? Or do you think there was any other options? Or like if you ran into a young black man in the same situation right now, what would you tell him? Like, I wish I would have done this, or you should do this.
I can only speak for myself. I can't say, I don't know if maybe I might be able to give some advice to another black man, but I would have to listen to his personal struggle. But me personally, I would have wished that I was in the system of foster. I wish I would have never met my family. I wish I would have never met my family on my mother's side or my father's side. I wish I would have just had that mystery of not knowing who they were and wishing I did.
What do you think that the foster care system would offer you that like a blood family would not be able to?
I feel like they would have offered me all of that stuff, like mental help, or make sure I got tutoring in school if I was failing. I feel like if I was raised by an Indian family, an Asian family, a white family, just a family with structure and order and financial security, I definitely would have been better off.
Yeah, maybe more of an accountability.
I wouldn't have even ended up here. I would have had a different destiny.
Yeah. So you did not finish the 9th grade.
But I did get my GED.
You got your GED. Because I was going to say, I used to teach 11th and 10th graders.
Okay.
I taught. Like, that was my career. And they're supposed to be hunting you down. Now, if you're not coming to school, that's truant. That is truancy.
I was going to school. But, okay, when I dropped out, Yeah, no one came looking for me.
You cannot. I
No
don't
one came
think you
looking for
can
me.
legally drop out at 9th grade. I don't think you're old enough.
No one came looking for me. I was bouncing around from house to house trying to find a place to live.
I was about to say they should have been
I
calling
was even homeless. So I was going from place to place trying to find a place to live. So eventually, I did. You know what? There was someone did tell me, the person that I was living with. I call a lot of people my mom and my dad. So there's a person Trace Break. What's up, Pop? Call him my Pop. No relation, no blood. It's a guy that let me into his family and into his house, and his children became like my siblings.
Okay.
You know, and he told me, he was like, "Yo, you got to do something because you can get in trouble for being here and not being in school."
Yes.
So I went to Job Corps.
Okay. So how was Job Corps?
That's where I got my GED, and that's where I got my HVAC certification.
Okay.
But where I messed up in Job Corps, I didn't get my refrigerant license.
Okay.
So and that will certify you to put coolant in the freezers, put coolant in refrigerators, put coolant in ACs and stuff like that. I didn't get that license that came with my HVAC certification.
So is that
I was stuck. I missed a major step.
Okay. I'm wondering, is that like a fault of Job Corps? Did they not realize that was something major, or?
Well, they were telling me that I need to get it. It's best to get it with my HVAC certification, or I'm going to have trouble. And I was just like, I'll get it when I get out of here. I'll get it somewhere else. Like
So you were being hard-headed.
I guess I was being stubborn.
Yeah.
So I opted to graduate from Job Corps with my GED and my HVAC certification, and without my Freon license.
Okay. So how old were you at this point?
This was 2000 and...
Because you started it after 9th grade, so you're about like 14, 15.
I can tell you when I graduated from Job Corps. 2007. I was...
You were born in 1989.
89.
Right, okay.
And what year and how old I was when I went, I can't even remember.
1989 plus 20.
I think I was about 18 when I went.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. When you graduated.
When I graduated. So it was about 2007.
Okay, so about 18-ish. So how was that after, did you start making money enough to sustain yourself once you got out of the Job Corps, you have your HVAC certification?
Well, what inspired me to get my HVAC certification is another male influence in my life, because my father wasn't there. I had so many male influences in my life.
Which is a blessing. My
Uncle Bob. So shout out Uncle Bob. Bob Palmer, they call him Heater Bob. And he was notorious for being the best heater repair man, journeyman, electrician, plumber, heater repair, boiler repair, AC repair. He was notorious in my city, Coatesville, for being the best. And so he'd been working in the field for about 30 years. So he inspired me to go to school for HVAC, because I was working with him as an HVAC helper before I actually went to Job Corps.
Okay. So, I mean, after that, were you making money? Was the money coming in? Was it a good career for you? Did you feel happy, fulfilled through Job Corps?
Now, when I did get a job with an actual HVAC company, it was not black owned, and there was only maybe one or two other black male workers there. Everyone else there was white, and it's a very competitive field.
Really?
Yes, it's competitive. It depends on how fast you install and how much you know.
Okay.
And if you're not catching on fast enough or moving fast enough, if you ask too many questions, the person that you're working with won't want to work with you. So that's what happened to me.
Okay. So you feel like you weren't really prepared?
I didn't know enough, or I didn't catch on well enough as far as HVAC. There were some things that I should have been able to do on my own without asking the person that I was working with, what should I do?
Okay. So really, Job Corps did not prepare you well enough for you to be a leader in that field.
It accelerated me. I was only at Job Corps for 5 months.
Wow.
It was an accelerated course and certification. It really rushed.
So here you are, dropped out, GED, went to Job Corps, got the training, wasn't really good enough to keep you on the field well. What are your next steps? After you started feeling like, oh, this isn't good.
Well, I was also pursuing music. I was rapping. I was singing. I was also pursuing boxing. I was trying to do stuff like that. But with boxing, I really couldn't really afford the training. I wasn't consistent. I always struggled with consistency. And that's one of my biggest flaws, being consistent. I've always struggled with consistency. So that inconsistency will lead to failure.
Yeah.
So I wasn't successful in football. I was really good at football, and in midget league, middle school and high school, everyone prophesied me to go to the NFL. Since I flopped out of high school, that didn't go well. Stuff with Job Corps and with music and boxing, lack of consistency, no guidance, no one pushing me, no one encouraging me. I was doing drugs, I was drinking.
What was your drug of choice, if you don't mind me
Marijuana.
asking? Marijuana? Okay. I don't really count that as a drug. But when you're a kid, you shouldn't, because your brain is not fully developed enough.
It's a gateway drug.
It is a gateway drug. That's debatable, though.
And if you notice, a lot of people that was doing marijuana, I know a lot of people that were doing marijuana when we were coming up. Now they're doing more hardcore drugs. Now they're doing more hardcore drugs, and even though we used to just smoke weed when we were younger.
Yeah.
So there's some truth to it being a gateway drug.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So right now it's just like you're talking about a lot of these failures that happened.
I am, and I am a failure, but it's because of Jesus Christ that I'm able to find some kind of success in my life right now.
Really?
So I have hope in Jesus Christ now, because I'm studying to be an ordained minister.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So you're there, things are bad. You begin to question Christianity. I just kind of want you to lead me into the steps. What was going on? Like, give me some contextualization of before you ended up here.
So I decided to, when I was asking a lot of questions about Christianity, I started listening to a lot of Pan-African people on the internet, and it was just so much information that I couldn't retain it. I couldn't retain all of this information that was coming out about all the universe and Mother Earth, Planet Gaia, and Sirius, and Planet Risk, and all Anunnaki. It was just too much. It was too much. So I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna be an atheist, a black atheist. So I decided to take on this black atheist belief that and I'm not even sure what I was believing. I was lost.
Is it
so I was led astray.
Or atheist?
Oh, I would say it's more Gnostic, because I started believing in Enki and Enlil and stuff like that. I started believing in that kind of stuff. Bill Carson. Okay. Bill Carson. So it kind of left me lost, because it was just so much information, and I was like, I can't retain all this. I don't know where to go. So I just was like, no, I'm gonna just be atheist. I'm God. God and the devil are the same.
So you had no community at this point, no friends, no girl kind of grounding you. Like, who did you have around you?
No one to keep me grounded, but I have people that I would call friends, but they didn't really care what I believed. I wanted to believe what I believed, and no one was like, yo, you need to stop believing that, blah, blah. Nah, no one cared. Yeah. So. And I had, even before I became atheist, I had felt the Holy Spirit. I felt the power of God. Yeah. In me, on me, around me. I've seen it. Yeah. And I still decided to listen to the devil's whisper and become atheist.
I have a brother who is in and out of jail and homeless shelters. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I ask myself, like, is this a choice? Or is this really your reality when it comes to him? Because I'm like, I feel like you could really lift yourself up by the boots if you got serious. I'm like, I feel like you're depressed, maybe possibly schizophrenic. Like, there's a lot, because he does have support around him. But let him tell it, no one loves him, and all these things. So I always ask myself, like, at what point is it just like you really don't have anyone, you're stuck in this cycle of homelessness, or is it like psychologically stuck? Like, did you really just feel like that was it?
Well, are you asking me? You told me about your brother, right? I was listening to all of that. So what exactly are you asking?
Did you look for other options when you're stuck in this matrix of like homeless shelter, or did you kind of just become like so down and like stuck in a cycle? Do you get what I'm saying?
When I was stuck in the shelter, the thing that helped me was government housing.
Okay.
I ended up getting my own place through the government, Section 8. They gave me Section 8.
Okay.
Yes, because of my being in shelter history, and I was diagnosed with PTSD.
Okay.
I started talking to a counselor, a therapist,
At
about my traumas. No, in the what do you call it? Human services.
Okay, so
Human
like DDS,
services.
yeah, not DDS. What's it called? Just like county.
So the
county health.
mental health. Yes, the mental health system. I got involved in the mental health system, and I was with combination of my shelter history.
Yeah.
They worked together to get me housing through the U.S. government, Section 8. And so I started talking to a therapist about my traumas.
Did it help?
I would say that it did, because it allowed me to be able to communicate my issues well. So I started building charisma by just talking with a therapist.
Okay.
And building my communication skills just by talking with a therapist.
Did you get on medication, or did they teach you?
They did prescribe me medication like, because I was I admitted myself into mental health hospitals numerous times.
Like self-checking.
Yes, numerous times. And they were prescribing medicine when I was in there, but when I got out, I wouldn't take it.
Why?
Because when I was in the mental health places, I realized that the medicine made me feel really cloudy and really like lethargic.
Yeah.
And not really lazy, a lot of sleeping. So I said, ain't no way I can take this medicine and hold a job down.
And work. Yeah. It must be draining.
So even though they gave me Social Security, I said I got too comfortable not taking the medicine. And I said I can deal with my PTSD with marijuana.
Self-medicate.
I started smoking marijuana.
Was the Social Security enough for you to like hold it down, take care of your bills, and not work?
With Section 8 and Social Security, I was doing pretty good.
Okay.
For myself, no one else, just for myself.
Yeah. Single black man vibing. How was dating at this time?
I would have a girl over every now and then.
Okay.
I already had kids, too.
Okay. 2 kids. Do you think that having
at that point I had 2 kids.
Okay.
Once I had my own place, and you know, I said once my baby moms gave me that space, because they saw that I was going through a lot. You know, even though they would fault me for it, they obviously realized that I even took a step back. I said, look, I need it. You know, I didn't even say it. I just took a step back, and I just became an absent father. Okay. Because of what I was dealing with.
Sometimes the absence is the protection.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you were better off away?
Yes, but what the baby moms do now is they try to make it so that I can't connect with my kids again because I stepped away.
Okay.
So they look at it. I believe that it was better for my children that I wasn't there, and they're holding on to that, and like it should stay that way.
How old are your children now?
My daughter is 14.
Okay.
My oldest daughter. My son is 10.
Okay.
11, and my youngest daughter is 5.
Okay. So
and then my youngest daughter, this one, is 3.
Sweetie.
So I'm popping them out like that, and trying to get back in my kids' lives, but because I took a step back, my children's mothers or they can't seem to get over that I walked away and became absent.
Parenting bicontinentally is very difficult. especially co-parenting bicontinentally.
At this point, since I'm in another continent, I'm just trying to have that phone call with my kids, and they won't even give me that, because when I was in the United States, I only came sporadically.
Yeah, it might be the in and out that they're afraid of, or the lack of consistency.
They say that the lack of consistency hurts the child, but to me, it's like, if I can't even have a phone call or that visit. Or that, how can I even begin to become consistent?
Yeah, I get it. You don't want to just drop in like, hey, I'm here, and there's no type of relationship. Like, you kind of want to ease in.
Right, but now that I'm on another continent, it's like if I had that phone call that I could call once a week, call on the weekends and once on the weekday, it's like at least I have that phone call in that community, and I'm trying to build that.
I get it.
So I'm having trouble getting that right now.
Did they put you in child support?
No.
You're blessed.
Yes, the Social Security protected me from that.
Okay.
And but when I did get a job, my supplemental income was susceptible to being garnished with child support.
So if you were to,
but since I was inconsistent so much, I had a hard time keeping a job. I would fight at my jobs. I would quit, or I would get fired.
Because that anger, that deep down.
I had behavioral issues, and I'm just like, and now at this point I'm 35, and it's like Jesus, God, the Bible, faith in God, having faith, believing His word, fasting, praying. Those are the only things that help me keep my behavior in check.
So I know we're kind of like all over the place, but a lot of people will say that expats who leave, a lot of people will say expats who leave America, Black Americans who run off, or like running off from something, sometimes abandoning something. Do you feel like you kind of left a lot of those problems in America on your way here? Like, how has that transition been for you emotionally?
Okay. During my time in the United States, coming up even as a teen, like I said, I was being bullied in high school. I was even bullying some people myself because that's what was done to me.
Yeah.
But I ended up being a victim of gang violence. When there's a lot of guys that you're against, you get jumped. And that happened to me a lot. I got jumped a lot.
Did you ever think about getting a gun?
Yes, of course I did.
Okay.
Of course I did, but I never did.
Amen.
And when I did get a gun, I never used it. I did get a gun, but I never used it, and I never got caught with it.
A knife?
Nope, no knife. I'm not a stabby person. I don't like blood. I don't like to stab someone. That's not my style.
Okay.
And a gun is not my style. I bang, bang, bang. So I throw the hands.
Old school.
Yeah. So, but it was too many people. I ended up becoming a victim of gang violence. Well, I didn't like to stab people. I didn't want to go to jail for life for stabbing someone, or for a long time for stabbing someone.
Yeah.
And why I didn't get a gun, I didn't want to throw away my future. I believed that I had something, and that I was going to be something no matter what.
Yeah.
So I said, let me just work through this. I'm going to struggle through this, but I'm going to get through this. I'm not going to throw my life away. I'm scared to die. I didn't want to die. I didn't want to end up getting shot. I didn't want to end up getting stabbed. So I'm not going to carry a knife, and I'm not going to carry a gun.
Amen. Period.
You live by it.
I don't know. If I kept getting jumped, I might get a gun.
Yeah, that crossed my mind a lot.
I might have to pull a gun.
That crossed my mind a lot, but because I was diagnosed, I couldn't get it. I ended up getting a felony at a young age. At like 18, I ended up getting a felony.
Damn, straight out of 18.
Yes.
What was the felony for?
A burglary.
Okay, you robbed somebody.
No, I tried to break into a place.
A house or a business?
A business.
What business? Like a pawn shop, a
Chinese restaurant.
Oh, okay, I feel it. Trying to get the end of the day money vibe.
Yep.
How'd you get
tip
caught?
jar.
Tip jar.
Yeah.
Not the tip jar.
I was young.
For the cash register
I was young, and if I could have got in there, I would have did that too. But it's computer. I would have been in like beep, 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 beep. open.
How'd you get caught?
Man. I was too busy anticipating on if I was going to do it or not, because I had a brick in my hand. I was dressed in all black, and my stupidity, the place was right down the street from a police station, and
dang.
I was wondering if I throw this brick in this window and get to that tip jar, which is right there, am I going to get caught?
What were you going to do with the money?
Buy some marijuana.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you get caught.
Yep.
How long did you go to jail for?
was it 5 months.
They didn't offer you a first-time offender plea deal?
No, they gave me the felony and the time served.
So after the 5 months, yeah, they hit you with that felony.
They screwed me.
You had a public defender.
Yeah.
Damn. Mm-hmm. Felon 18. Did you go back? Because once you get that one, it's a
I ended up going back. I'm not sure when it was, but I can remember a couple times I was in there for a probation violation. Cause they put you on probation after you get a felony. I was in there for a probation violation.
Got into
it with my one of my BMs, and she put a PFA on me.
Okay, so BM means baby mama.
Yeah.
And a PFA is
an order of protection.
Okay.
From abuse. And she fabricated text messages that I contacted her when I didn't, and they put a warrant out for my arrest. And next thing I know, I'm back in jail.
Did she want you to go back to jail?
Yeah, she wanted me to go to jail. But when the police came after we had our altercation, they didn't arrest me. They let me go. So I had moved to a whole nother place. I drove about an hour away, maybe 45 minutes away, and I was just I'm in a homeless shelter. I'm just trying to get myself together after me and my BM is breaking up. And next thing I know, I get a call from the police station that there's a warrant out for me, and I need to come to the police station.
Then you're already on probation, and it just becomes very stressful.
Yeah.
So I have a question though, because there's like a lot of circulation that goes around when they say, "Oh, felons can't get a passport," but clearly you have a passport.
Yeah, I was able to get one.
And you were a felon.
Yep.
So were you not supposed to get a passport?
I don't know, because when I applied for the passport, it did definitely take some time for it to come out. I noticed that when I was at the passport agency, people that had come in after me were leaving with their passport.
Okay.
So I didn't leave with my passport that day. And mine ended up coming in the mail. And it had drove me crazy waiting on it, because I had already made plans to travel.
Okay.
And I didn't get an answer whether I was going to get it or whether I didn't, or whether I was. And it ended up coming in the mail, because I had called the passport agency, and they told me that it's processing, and I should submit my address so that they can send it to me. So it drove me crazy.
They might have been like searching the charge, maybe, or just seeing if it's something so crazy.
I think so. But they gave it to me.
I don't think felons are allowed to go to Canada. Like,
no, I heard that.
Has there been certain places that you've applied for a visa and have not gotten in?
No, it's only Nigerian visa that I applied for.
Okay, so this is the only place out of the country that you visit, Nigeria. Okay, we're gonna get into that. I really like that. So your baby mamas, because they also, another passport myth is, oh, you can't leave the country if you owe child support.
My child support got wiped away because of my mental health diagnosis.
Getting assistance and things.
My mental health diagnosis. That's what I would say. Okay. That's what I believe it was. That's what I can remember it was. I had back pay and all that stuff.
So is it going to be like that forever?
Well, now that Trump changed the laws to where if I pay child support, I'm going to claim my kids on taxes.
But I heard that's fake news.
No, I don't think it's fake. I don't think it's fake. I don't think my kids will want me to pay child support if they know I'm going to get that child tax credit at the end of the year.
Okay. But do you help anyway?
Do
you send money anyway?
I did send money to my son while I was here once for shoes. But my baby mom, she keeps on bringing up the past and stuff that happened more than 10 years ago. Yeah. And then it's like when she gets disrespectful to me, I don't not disrespect back. So I get disrespectful back, and she's like, "You never changed." And I'm not letting our son talk to you. Yeah. So she's married now, and she takes her husband as my son's father now. And
is that
honestly,
painful? Is that painful? Or have you just kind of released?
I just become numb to it. Yeah. I just become numb to it. It's not like I don't care. When I look at their picture, him, my wife's husband, and my son, I don't feel hurt, but I do feel something. I do feel something.
With situations like that, I always think kids are adults for longer than their children. So there will be a day, like even if right now is not your time with him, there will be a day where he is a man.
Yeah, and
he turns 18, and you guys can take it from there.
I have faith that day will come. Yeah, that's how I was with my father. Even though my father didn't want anything to do with me, which I have a very unique story about how my relationship with my father. I still went looking for my father, and I found him. And I still love my father, even though he doesn't want anything to do with me, and I don't feel that same love from him.
Yeah. You know, I also have, my biological dad did not raise me. We had a very tumultuous relationship. In my childhood, I just never felt like fully accepted and loved by him. And I had my stepdad, but our adult relationship is so strong, actually.
Wow.
So
Amen.
It happens.
I have hope. I have hope that it will be that way for me. I have hope that my children will rather not want to be in the United States and will say, "Hey, Pop, I want to come to Africa with you." I have hope that maybe my son will want to marry an African woman one day, and I'll be like, "Yeah, my boy, come on with me."
We're gonna get into that. So I do want to ask you, during this time, you're homeless, you're dropping out, you're blah blah blah. Where the hell is your dad? Because you're saying that you were reaching out to him. Was he just like ignoring you? Like,
my dad, he didn't really care. You know, he was there when I know where he was, so I could always go visit him. I could always go sit up there and talk to him and stuff like that. But you know, excuse me, sorry.
No, you're good. This is a safe space.
He didn't really care. You know, he sold drugs, and you know, he was married, and his wife had sons that were my age. He took them as his sons, or more of his sons than me. And it was later I found out that that's how his father was, which is my grandfather. My grandfather took on his wife's kids as his own. It was 3 of them, but you know, and loved them more than they showed more love to him more than he showed love to my own father, which was his own son.
Have you addressed that abandonment as an adult?
With my father, it turned into an argument.
So you just kind of learned to let it go in order to sustain whatever we can at this point.
It's better for us not to talk.
Okay. About that or in general? Because you said you kind of talk.
About that.
Okay.
But because of that, we take long breaks of talking in general.
Okay. Did you find your wife before you came or after?
Before.
Okay, online.
So yeah, I found myself.
This is my favorite thing to talk about. I love love.
So I found myself lost after stepping back from religion. And I said, as an African American, I don't know what direction to go. So I think I'm going to go with African spirituality or African traditional, the African traditional way. So I said, I don't know how to do that other than to go to Africa. So because I ended up stepping back from religion and then finding myself in a place where I don't know where to go. I was even doing witchcraft myself in the United States.
When you say witchcraft, what does that mean though?
Burning candles, writing stuff on paper, using oils, saying stuff.
But that's not just Africans.
No, I was saying I was doing that kind of stuff in the United States while I was lost. When I took a step back from Christianity. Okay. I was hexing people who pissed me off. And one person that I hexed.
My God, are you a juju doctor? No,
I'm not. I was just doing what I found out on the internet. Okay. I'm not what do you call initiated or anything that way. Okay. But one person I did hex, they did end up dying.
Oh my God, stop.
Yes, no.
This stuff gets serious. Yeah, spiritual warfare is real.
And I've repented from that. And I'm making sure that I'm really going to stay away from that stuff and stay with Jesus Christ and the Bible. To show that I really repented from that, so that hopefully it's not held against me. Okay.
So you were in that space. How does that equate to you finding your wife?
Okay, so I said that if I'm going to go to Africa, I would say that I would need someone to receive me. And not only that, I need someone that can tell me what to do in order to get there. I didn't even know how to even begin to get there. And my wife, Nigerians are the African people that travel abroad the most. They are all over the world, and my wife knew a lot about how to travel.
How did you find her?
On Facebook.
What group?
African American Singles Facebook group. That's just a total spam group now. Okay. But it's African American Gentlemen Singles or something like that. I don't know, what the hell the name of the group is.
And it was just full of all foreign women in there, or is it just African women in there looking?
It's men and women from abroad and men and women from Africa all there looking.
So it's just a big old singles group.
Yes, I can. I think I can pull it up on my Facebook.
Okay.
Just give me a second. Like.
And then you saw her. Who slid in whose DMs first?
Me. I did.
What attracted you to her? So at this point, hold on before you answer that. Have you denounced Black American women at this point? Why didn't you just want to ask a Black American woman, hey,
Okay,
let's go here together?
African American.
American/African singles, ladies and gents.
Yeah, I can't read.
I want to. What is? Because usually they have the info for the group. This group is created to help you find your life partner. Do not post nudes or obscene language. Okay, so it's just basically, yeah, Africans and Americans who are single and looking for each other. So I see a lot of white men.
Yeah, there is. He's an admin. He's an admin.
Oh, he's an admin.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was like, damn. But he posts himself a lot.
Yeah.
I'm on the main page.
The group is turned to be turn into a spam page.
Okay, but back then, I mean, what did you do?
A couple years ago. Okay, what I did was I made a post. I said I'm looking for an African wife and I'm looking to come to Africa, and some African women did end up liking it. So I went through. No, I did get some messages. I did start talking to a couple African women, but it didn't go anywhere. And I got.
So what are they saying though when they slide?
I can't remember. remember.
That was like what was your criteria? Because at this point, I'm looking for an African is very vague. So were you like, looking for a specific type, or she needs no kids, or what? When you say I'm looking for an African woman, what were the characteristics that you were looking for?
I kind of felt like I was just going to go off of what I felt. I didn't know exactly what I was looking for. I felt that I was just going to go off of what I felt when I met the person, when I talked to them, when I saw their picture. Okay. I said if the attraction is there, that's definitely good. Okay. So if we can get along, and if we can have some things in common, you know what I mean. But attraction is big for me as a man. Okay. And when I saw my wife at then and still now, she was like I was like. Yeah, I like that right there. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Okay, damn. So she was like, "Let me help you come to Nigeria."
I saw that she liked my post. I ended up inboxing her, and once it took like 24 hours. That after I messaged her that she responded, I immediately called her on Facebook Messenger to confirm that she was a real person. Okay. Video call. I saw that she was exactly who she was in the photos. Okay. We had a conversation right then and there, and I said, "Hey, I'm looking. I want to come to Nigeria, and I want to get married, and I'm trying to figure out if you're the one."
Why the marriage though? Why were you like, I need a wife? Why not just like, hey, I want to come chill. I want to see what's up. Like, what at this point we're like, I want a wife who is African.
Because
and then don't you think that's kind of mean? Hold on now. Hold on now, real quick.
Okay.
Don't you think that's kind of, there's a lot of single Black women in America who are Americans.
Yeah, and there's Africans there too.
I get it. So why are you like, oh my God, I want a wife there? Like, is that not kind of a betrayal where your baby mama's not kind of feeling away? Like,
I felt like African women would be more traditional. African women would be more traditional and be more accepting of my bullshit.
Maybe, but is accepting of your bullshit conducive for you as a man in general?
Yes, because I'm a big fuck up in life, and I have a lot of failures, and I didn't measure up to the standards that a lot of Black American women have for men. Like, a lot of Black American women say that a man making $100,000 a year isn't enough. So I didn't measure up to the standards as far as a high value man.
But a lot of this narrative on the internet is not real life. There are good Black women out there who love a king who does not make $100K plus on these things. And then I feel like when you're saying, oh, like I didn't hold up to the standard, I'm a fuck up. A lot of Black women also will hold you accountable, push you, tell you when you're wrong. Were you evading that?
No, I really wanted to come to Africa to experience it, also to get into I wanted to get into the African traditional stuff myself. And I said that I think that marrying an African woman will make it easier as well to be able to accomplish what I want to do in life.
Okay.
It was very important for me to come to Africa and experience and see the traditional stuff myself. When I saw myself coming to Africa before I came, I said I saw myself laying on a fucking wood stone table, getting chicken's blood poured on me, and incense burned, and herb taking herbal baths and all that stuff like that. That's how I saw that it was going to be.
But most Nigerians are Christian or Muslim.
I didn't know that coming here.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Nigeria is one of the most religious countries.
So I have a question. If a Congolese woman had slid into your DMs and the vibe was there, would you be in Congo?
Yes.
Tanzanian?
Yes.
So you were just open, all of Africa?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank God for Nigeria. Thank God for a Nigerian woman. You're here. You're here now.
It was me. To me, it was like I kind of can't be so picky because, like I said, I was feeling like self-conscious about myself and my failures and my shortcomings.
Okay.
And I knew that I wasn't cream of the crop pick myself. So I was just like, I had an open mind about who I was going to accept as the woman that I was going to marry.
Were you honest with her at this point? Like,
I told her I had kids.
I've been to jail.
Oh yeah, I told her all that.
In a homeless shelter.
I told her all that.
Blah, blah, blah. And she was
I told her all of that, yes.
Come on with it.
I told her all of that, yes.
I love her for that. Honestly.
It got to the point that when I had my own place in 2018, and I had girls coming in and out, you know what I'm saying? I ended up getting a girlfriend.
While y'all were together?
No, this is before I met my wife.
Oh, before you met. That's the 5-year-old.
Yes.
Okay.
And shortly after that, I met my wife, and that girl was already pregnant.
Why did you not want to marry that girl?
We had pretty bad fights. Not fights, arguments, and she called me some names that made me feel like this woman doesn't have respect for me.
Okay.
You know, calling me a faggot and stuff like that. I'm just like, that's not that I don't have that kind of thing. I'm not. So whatever she's hearing about me or whatever she believes about me, this is not a woman that. And she yelled it out for my neighbors to hear and stuff like that.
Toxic.
She kicked my door, and my door was already broken, and she kicked my door in. After I asked her to leave, I had to keep on asking her to leave because we were having a bad argument, and she ended up spitting on my jacket. Throwing my jacket on the floor, spitting on it. And that stuff was just like, okay,
there's no coming back from this. So you wanted a traditional African woman, but are you a traditional man?
Well, I would say a traditional man is a provider.
Okay.
Whether he goes out and tills the field or not, or goes out and works all day, I would say that a traditional man provides.
Okay.
And I do, and with the money that I make from the United States, I'm able to provide for my wife here.
Okay.
So I would say that I hold a mind of the bargain as far as being a provider.
Are these things that you and her talked about before you came? Like, I would expect you to have a home for us as my husband, and I expect this and that, and it was all in agreement.
And the whole time I've been here in Nigeria, she hasn't worked a day in her life.
I love that for her. At any point was she like, well, no, don't come here, I want to come there?
Oh yeah, she definitely, it was definitely in the discussion for her to get a U.S. green card. That was definitely in the discussion. And I said, okay, and no problem, I'll do whatever I can do to try to make that happen for you. I don't know, but I'm willing to try for you.
Yeah.
Now at this point, we're documentarily qualified, and we can be expecting her green card interview any day now. But it's been a long wait. I'm talking like 2020. I'm talking about 2020. We started 2023. I finished submitting all of the documents that were required, and we've been documentarily qualified since December of 2023. And now it's heading into February of 2025.
And she's still not.
So, and she still didn't get her invitation letter for a green card interview. So, and I really love that I can do something like that for her, because I'm like, I can't do anything like this for a woman in America.
Be able to give them
a green card, take them out of a third world country, and bring them into a place like the United States. And I feel like I've done a good thing for my wife. I feel like I couldn't do that for an American woman. I couldn't. They have everything that they already need there. They're independent. They're independent. Yeah. They don't really need us. That's whether they say they do or not, or whether people believe or not. I feel like they don't really need black men.
Do these stories where they're like, yeah, as soon as they got their green card and came to America, they disappeared on me, cheated on me, and left me.
It's unfortunate, but that does happen, and it seems to be mostly men that do that to American women. But I have heard stories of Nigerian men that take their Nigerian wives abroad and their wives leave them. But I don't hear stories about Nigerian women leaving foreign men.
Yeah.
I don't hear stories about that. But you do hear stories of Nigerian men leaving foreign women. No disrespect.
Oh, they run. There's stories. I'm in my Nigerian sister wives group. It's a trauma group. Because it's just like, oh my God, like, I just found out that he has a whole new girl in Nigeria that he's planning to bring here, and he's about to divorce me, and it's a messy ass group. Right. But there's honestly just more Black American women who are coming here for the men, I think, than reverse.
Yes.
In general.
Yes, because Black American men don't seem to travel as much, especially, and they don't seem to be interested in Africa. It just became a trend to me. I've been watching.
Passport bros.
Yes, it just became a trend for Black American men to start coming to Africa. They were always interested in Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, you're right.
And a white girl.
But many who are coming to Africa are also going to Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania. Like Nigeria is not on that list.
I've seen a lot of Black American men going to other African countries.
Exactly.
I do see them.
Honestly, that's why.
And Ghana is even more popular than Nigeria when it comes to Black American men.
Well, that's why when I saw you, I was like, wow, because I do not see. I think you and Willie are the only African American men I know.
Yeah, how's he doing?
Willie is my dude.
How he doing? Tell him I said what's up, Will.
Shout out to Willie, honestly. I love me some Willie. And his wife, Blessing. It's a blessing.
Okay, I haven't heard from him since we met him, so I'm just like,
okay.
I'm
cool.
wondering how he's doing. Okay.
He's in South Africa for the most part.
Dang.
Yeah, he's working in the States, but he just sent his wife to South Africa. So that's a blessing.
Okay.
But so you come here, you come to Nigeria. What is your first impression? What has life in Nigeria been like for you? Like, and this is a safe space.
When I first came to Nigeria for 5 days, when the first time I came to Nigeria was for 5 days, and me and my wife got married the second day that I was here.
Damn, courthouse wedding. It was nice.
Mm-hmm. Huh?
Was it nice?
Yes.
Okay. So your first 5 days in Nigeria, you got here, and you got married within 2 days.
Yeah.
Court wedding.
Yeah.
What made you feel like comfortable enough? How long had y'all been talking at this point?
Me and my wife were talking for 6 months.
Okay. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but you felt comfortable enough to go through.
Yeah.
With it. Why didn't you want to wait like at least 2 weeks or something to just make sure?
Honestly, I didn't have that much time. What do you call it? That I designated to be in Nigeria for my flight back. Because the more time that I wanted to spend in Nigeria, the more expensive it was for my flight back. Okay. So I didn't have that much money to be in Nigeria for a long time, like coming to visit. So I said, if I'm gonna go to Nigeria, I want it to count. I want to be. I saw the direction that the United States was going. Okay. And this was before Biden came in office, and all that stuff that happened during the Biden presidency is like, it seemed like the United States was going to collapse. Okay. Right. So you were like, let me plant these roots. I felt like I saw this coming because I was tapped in the conscious community where people where the conspiracy theorists were saying, yeah, this is going to happen. United States dollar's going to crash. It's going to be the end of the United States. You know what I mean? So I was like, let me prepare to get the fuck up out of here. Yeah. So I got my wife. I got my passport. You came you said you had about 2 weeks here? My first time I was here was for 5 days. Damn. And I had a lot of fun. We got married the second day. It was fun. But I was drinking most of the time, so it's like a blur. But the nostalgic feeling of it, I can't get that back. because I've been here for 4 years. So I would actually prefer to have the same feelings towards Nigeria that I had when I first came here.
Yeah.
But after being here for 4 years, it's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you were looking through a romanticized lens those 5 days. What shocked you? Like, what was like, damn?
How far my money went. Like,
Okay.
I was like, yo, I'm rich over here. I can do a lot of stuff over here.
Like what?
Like,
What were you doing?
I was buying what I wanted to buy for my wife. If we could have a good time, we could go out and eat.
Okay.
And like buy nice clothes and pay for transport to go here and there.
You
and
better trick.
yeah, I was spending money on my wife.
Trick that.
And it was a time where there was PUA. No, PUA didn't come yet.
What's
It
PUA?
was the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance.
Oh, okay.
It was
Stimulus check. The stimmy didn't hit yet. But
the third time that I came here, that's when I was collecting PUA. That money was nice over here in Nigeria. I was tearing it up, boy. I was tearing it up over here.
I can't. So did you have to pay a bride price
Yeah.
at the court wedding?
To my wife's family before we even got married.
So before you came
Yeah.
to Nigeria, how much was the bride price, if you don't mind me asking? Or is that kind of, sorry.
I don't. It wasn't expensive.
Okay.
It was like they didn't really care about how much I paid for the bride price because they saw it as they saw it as her being married to him is more valuable than how much we can get from him right now.
Okay. What tribe is she?
Idoma.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, Idoma.
From Edo?
No, Benue.
I don't know that place.
Benue and Enugu. Like
That's in the
both places
east.
Yeah, that's
It's like Igbo land.
No, that's not.
Idoma. Is that considered a minority tribe?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, because my husband's tribe is small too.
Mm-hmm.
So did you guys have a traditional wedding?
No, court marriage and that's it.
Why no traditional?
Money.
I get it. Yeah.
And I think,
But you know, they can be humble.
I think that throwing an event like that just to please everybody is just like, I'd rather keep my money and spend it on us.
On her, yeah.
Instead of, because at our court marriage, we had like a party after that, like a ceremony where all these people were there.
Okay.
And we didn't even get to celebrate with them. We left immediately after that. We didn't eat any of the food with them.
Okay.
Out of fear of being poisoned.
Damn. You know, this is not, Willie said the same thing. Willie said that during his traditional marriage, his wife was like, sweetie, don't even eat the food because they might try to poison you and bring bad luck to us.
Yeah.
So he was like, nah, thank you.
And it's kind of ironic because at the point that my wife was feeding me cake, I ended up choking on it while she was feeding it to me, like in front of everybody.
Oh my God.
Like they didn't have to give me the Heimlich, but I started just having this crazy sporadic cough that just came out of nowhere, and I was like, somebody somewhere is mad at me.
Put the spell on you.
Yeah.
Choke.
Oh, I definitely been
I was
hexed.
eating down in my traditional. I mean,
I definitely was hexed, but I made it through. I made it through those hexes.
Those things.
People have hexed me.
so did you ever ask her, sweetie, why were you in this group looking for like foreign love? You weren't feeling any Nigerian men.
She told me the story how ever since she was in school that she told herself that she was going to marry a Black American man, and and that even prophets have told her that they see her marrying a Black American man.
Damn.
Yeah, and that they see her traveling to America. This was when she was still in school.
I love
and
that
she
for her.
vowed to herself that she wouldn't marry a Nigerian man,
That's crazy.
and that her husband was going to be a Black American.
I love that. My first boyfriend, my first like real boyfriend was Nigerian.
Okay.
And my baby's daddy is Sierra Leonean. So I've always just felt like
Okay. Cool.
an attraction. So I get that.
Cool.
And what I'm saying is I kind of get that when you just feel like this is my type.
Well, when I was on the internet and I saw African women dressed in those traditional clothes and the wrappers and the head, the beads that they wear around their head and stuff like that, and the little tube top stuff, and I was just like,
this is erotic.
because it was like I don't meet the standards of the Black American women, but here goes some black women over here that I
But you know, African women are not cheap. They are pricey too.
No,
I feel
they're
like
not. But the dollar goes further over here.
that's true, because I was about to say, I feel like a black American woman is really more likely to even entertain 50-50 with you.
They're more independent.
A lot of these women over here, there ain't no such thing as 50-50 now.
True, but my money go further over here, and in America they're more independent. And I was just like, it's just that, you know, I feel like that the black American women wanted too much from me. I just had too much baggage. I had too much in my past, and I just felt like a black American woman wouldn't accept me for that.
I get that.
And I just was like,
how was her family receptive of you when you came? Did they have questions for you? Like, can we trust our daughter with you?
no, because as I was talking to my wife, telling her everything, I'm sure that she was talking to her mom and
Okay.
you know, letting her mom know about me. And I don't really want to give too much information about my wife's family.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Like
okay.
as far as her like father's side.
I'm
of family,
so
stuff
okay
like
with
that.
boundaries.
But
Yeah.
I can say that there was some kind of discrepancy about our marriage. Like my wife's father's side didn't like. Not many of them attended, but
Okay.
I think like one or two of them did.
Okay.
And I ended up paying the bride price again to her father's side,
Okay.
and I paid the bride price to the mother's side as well.
Yeah, I think you have to pay the
So-
dad's side.
So yes, so I ended up paying bride price to her mother. I ended up paying because she wasn't in contact with her father's side.
Okay,
And
but then
the
they found
the wedding
out.
was happening too fast,
Okay.
and they lived in a different part of here in a different state here in Nigeria.
So they couldn't travel to Abuja.
So
in time.
it was like I think they sent a representative to attend, but I ended up having, because I only paid the bride price to the mother.
Okay.
I had to end up paying it again.
Okay.
And then I ended up sending, I sent her brother to the village, and I gave him money as far as like a bride price as well.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah.
Okay. So fast forward, the 5 days are over. You come back again during the pandemic. You got the STEMI check. Everything is cool. Now you're here. And you
I came back again 6 months later for a second visit, and I stayed for 30 days.
Okay.
And I was drunk most of the damn time.
Okay.
But I had fun. And like I said, the traveling experience was like my favorite. Being at the airport,
Yeah.
being on the airplanes, the airplane food. I really enjoyed the airplane food.
It's fun.
I could have at least 3 servings without being judged.
Yeah.
The
feed
flight
you.
attendants didn't care that I was asking for more food and more alcohol.
Yeah.
I was having fun. I was
experience.
tipsy on the airplane.
So-
now going forward now, going back to the United States, I'm gonna be holding on for dear life. All these plane crashes going.
We're gonna get into that.
And
We're gonna get
I'm
into
not
that.
gonna be drinking this time because I'm gonna be like, Lord,
Okay. Well, you might need to drink just in case
I
things go
don't-
bad. You're not like too nervous.
I feel like I have to hold up this end of sobriety.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
I don't want to chase away the Holy Spirit and what God is doing in my life.
So you came for 30 days, left back to America.
Yes, 6 months after being here for 5 days. So I went back to America
5,
again,
30,
and then
come back, and
now
you
I'm-
stayed.
Yes.
Okay. How's that been for you, living here permanently? You've been here for 4 years.
Yes.
So you're like really Nigerian.
I know, right?
Do you consider yourself a Nigerian man?
I say that I have dual citizenship. I don't consider myself a Nigerian man. No.
Why? Your wife is Nigerian.
Because I'm not.
I feel like I'm a Nigerian woman. My husband's Nigerian. I live in Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian.
No, I don't consider myself a Nigerian man.
No? Do you
No.
have Nigerian men friends?
Yes.
A lot?
Well, everybody wants to be my friend, and I count them as an acquaintance. But everybody wants to be my friend mostly because I'm from the United States. They want to know if I can take them to the United States. They want to know what they can get out of me or what I can do for them. So there are some Nigerian men that I consider friends, but a lot of them I consider acquaintances.
Okay.
People that I meet that I will most likely not have contact with unless it's a business exchange from United States to Nigeria.
Okay. Do you have a Nigerian name?
Well, I gave myself the Nigerian name, Emeka, but I put a twist on it, Emeka or Emeka is what they call it.
Yeah.
But I put a twist on it and combined America with Emeka, Emerica.
Okay, yeah, because that's your name in my WhatsApp.
Yeah.
What tribe is Emeka?
I think that's Igbo.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a Yoruba name.
Name me.
Abayemi.
I don't like the buy in it.
Help me name him. We'll think. Have you gotten DNA tribe tested?
No,
Why not?
because I don't trust my DNA information with those companies.
African Ancestry does delete the information. Seriously.
Well, we never know. And what happened with 23andMe? A lot of those CEOs stepped down. 23andMe, and Lord knows what the hell they're doing with that information.
So what are you afraid of them doing with the information?
I'm
now?
afraid of 5G. I'm afraid of them targeting a specific group of people because they've always, who is they? You know, they've always wanted to kill us in large numbers. And
Yeah.
I'm just afraid of, I just don't want to be in that number, you know. And hospital has my blood. So they might even already have it, but I don't trust those DNA companies. I will never know what my African ancestry is, and I'm okay with that.
Well, that's even more of a reason for you to adopt Nigerian lifestyle.
I did.
So do you
I don't mind a Nigerian lifestyle. I like it.
Yeah.
But do I consider myself a Nigerian man?
No.
No.
How has this country healed you?
Well, it's helped me with a lot of anxiety that I was feeling in the United States because I felt like any day that I walked the streets, I could catch a stray bullet.
Okay.
Any day that I walk the street, I could end up getting jumped like what happened to me when I was younger.
Okay.
I feel like if I get into an altercation with someone, verbal, just even a verbal altercation, if I want to stand up for myself, that I may be putting my life at risk. And it's really giving me some time to heal mentally. And that is big on my part because I had a lot of anxiety and I needed a lot of mental healing.
Yeah. Do you feel like any of your PTSD or other mental issues that you've had at home, you've come and packed onto your wife? Or has she been a part of your healing process, or do you feel like you kind of healed yourself and freed her from that? Or?
No, I do believe that PTSD is contagious. And I do believe that a person with PTSD can give someone else PTSD. And, my wife has seen some stuff from me towards her that she probably doesn't like. But the fact that she's been so patient, it has really, and it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
I would say that I have matured.
I know that you have a young daughter here. You all had a daughter together. Mm-hmm. And I honestly love that it almost feels like that's like a renaissance in fatherhood for you. Right?
Well, yeah. And we're expecting again, and I feel like we have a big suspicion that it's twins. And I would just feel so vindicated and just so validated that, like, you know, even though I have kids with other women and they want to, you know, make it seem like I'm this type of guy, that God is still giving me that allowing me to be fruitful and blessing me with more children.
Have you talked to your daughter here about her siblings in America?
Well, yeah, the 5-year-old my daughter talks to on a daily basis.
Talk.
Yes.
That's sweet. Mm-hmm. Do you think your baby mamas will ever get to a point of trust with you to where they will let you bring the kids to Nigeria?
No, I think that my children are going to have to be adult and make that decision for themselves.
Okay, once they reach adulthood.
Yes.
So you actually are like, what is your citizenship process like here in Nigeria? Are you seeking citizenship?
I don't have a resident permit.
Okay.
I do have state of origin. I have NIN. And
You have an NIN?
Yes.
Oh.
I have state of origin. And
what's your state of origin? Abuja?
No, Ogbadibo. It's like some kind of native place.
Where your wife lives? Where your wife's village is?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a native place. So
From what state?
Which state?
Benway.
Benue.
So you have an
And,
NIN. I have a Niger wife's card. That's my.
They don't do Niger wife or husband. But they
Damn.
told me that it has to be 5 years or 4 years that I'm here, and that I can apply for a resident permit. But they don't do Niger husband. And so
That sounds like a nice discrimination lawsuit.
not in Nigeria.
That's not fair.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Do they do Niger husband? Comment in the comments, please. Let us know in the comments.
Is that fair? Honestly, though. But you do have an NIN. That's the most important part.
Oh, and I have a bank account here.
A BVN.
BVN. I
So you have a BVN and
in the
NIN.
state of origin.
Do you have a Nigerian license?
No, but I'm about to have a Nigerian passport.
Okay.
So I feel like a combination of those things kind of do make me a dual citizenship, but I don't have a resident permit, and that's what makes someone a dual citizen.
So when you came here, you have a fixed income because of your Social Security income from the States. Is the dollar really still dollaring?
Because of what happened with Trump and who I believe it is, with him retracting the United States from who, I think that is affecting the dollar to naira rate, and naira is gaining against
Even
dollar.
before who though? Even before who, the dollar is.
The dollar was going up gradually all the time since I've been here, but prices of things have been getting expensive. But certain things haven't gotten that expensive. But other certain things have gotten expensive.
I feel like since I've been here, Abuja is getting more expensive.
Oh yeah, I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
But there are some items that haven't increased in money that much.
The only thing that does not increase in money in this country is labor. I would
True,
say, honestly,
true.
labor is the only thing that stays consistent. And then even a lot of self-contracting laborers are raising their prices. At the end of the day, you cannot get like a house help and all that for $50K anymore. People need $150K, $100K to survive, you know?
Yeah.
The prices of everything has gone up.
Yeah.
So much. So that's why I'm asking, is your Social Security income like enough to keep you comfortable like it used to?
Yeah. When I first came to Nigeria, I was getting PUA, which is the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance.
Yeah.
I was collecting that while I was here. And, whatever. It been ain't going. I ain't paying that. I ain't paying that. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. Y'all want to put whatever. So it was really nice then. But the dollar, the naira rate was lower than what it is now.
Yeah.
It is still $700 a month. It's still enough money for me to take care of me, my wife, my daughter, and even be able to do some things for my wife's family if I wanted to.
I love that.
But because I'm in a situation where I'm paying monthly for rent, which most people in Nigeria don't pay monthly rent, they pay annual rent. I have been there before, but when you pay annual rent, you need a large amount of money.
Yeah.
And you need a large amount of money for furniture.
Yes.
So because I don't have a large amount of money and money for furniture, I'm paying for Airbnb.
Yeah.
So that's taking away a lot of what I could be using for other things, to like enjoyment or things that I like to do as far as content creation.
You need a nest egg, almost just like a lump sum to
nest
kind of
egg,
get you settled.
Or income tax refund.
Yeah, so something chill. I mean, you have your dependents,
or
right?
a stimulus check.
Yeah, something like a little kicker.
I'm trying to get my daughter a Social Security number, but it's a long process, and I'm kind of lost in it right now. But since I'm anticipating going back to the United States, I think that I'll be able to get a Social Security number sooner than later. So I got my own dependent, and to my baby mom, kiss it, because I can get my own income tax.
Life past
I get my
tax
own income
season,
tax,
you guys.
child.
So you're heading
refund.
back there. Have you bought your ticket?
No, I'm currently seeking assistance from the U.S. Embassy.
How does that work, though?
Well, they work with the Nigerian Immigration Office to figure out what my overstay penalty fee is.
How long have you overstayed?
4 years, 4 months.
You are an illegal immigrant.
Yes.
And I wonder if there's a hotline that I can call to get a little reward for you. I'm just kidding.
I'm sure it would have been that way if I would have kept that $100K. It would have been like, sorry, I can't come to the interview.
Hotline. No, I'm kidding. But you know, you can always pay your way out of this country now.
Well, my overstay penalty fee is quite high.
You can always
like-
find somebody who can get you out of here.
But they settled for, even though it was like really high, they settled for a quarter of what it's supposed to be.
What is really high?
$14,000.
Dollars?
Yes. Even they even told me $34,000.
Stop. There's no way. For
They
you
told
to
me
leave
they told me
here?
$34,000 first.
No.
Yes.
No.
And then they told me $14,000.
No,
Then
no,
they told
no,
me
no,
they
no,
wanted.
no, no,
Then
no.
they told me it's because of Trump too. Then they told me they wanted to have me arrested
Here
And
in
they told-
Nigeria.
Yes, they told me that they want. I'm going to be deported.
Okay, deport me.
And they told me that whatever my overstay, as long as I overstayed in other countries, is worthy of the death penalty. I said the devil was
In
a liar.
Nigeria?
Yeah, they told me in countries like China, what the immigration officer told me, like in a country like China, what I did here is worthy of the death penalty. I said the devil is a liar.
So why didn't you just I'm shocked. Why didn't you extend?
Because I didn't care, and I didn't want to put the money. I didn't want to put $200 out every month.
But here's my thing. There's always somebody who will take $20 now. Did you really look?
$20 is definitely too small.
Did you look?
$20 is definitely too small to extend a visa.
For a year?
I didn't even go and see about it.
I was about to say, if you go and see about it.
I didn't care to extend my visa. I said I'm going to stay here and I'm going to become a citizen, and I'm going to get a Nigerian passport, and I'm going to either travel through Ghana or I'm going to pay them at the airport.
You have to walk
I'm going
me
to pay
through
them at
this.
the airport to let me go.
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about. You leave the airport, they look at your passport. Whoa, you've overstayed. Then you cannot get on your flight until
you would have to pay them.
The 34, which they turned 14.
No, you would have to pay them something at the airport, and it would just be like zip.
Well, then why don't you just do that?
Because I can't afford a plane ticket
to go home.
Exactly.
But do they really just give the plane tickets out though?
The U.S. Embassy makes you apply for it, filling out a form. They make you come in for a repatriation interview, and they also do some investigating as far as calling people back in the United States to confirm that no one can help me with the plane ticket.
Come back. So when you leave, does that affect you coming back to Nigeria?
I think that I will have to let the U.S. Embassy hold my passport, from what I heard, until I pay them back.
Oh, that's not too bad.
What they loan me. No, it's not.
So it's like a travel loan.
And then I can apply for another visa to come to Nigeria.
Okay.
And what I do after that is on me. After everything that I've learned, I definitely wouldn't want it to be like I overstayed again. Yeah. And if I ever come back here to Nigeria, I definitely would pursue the resident permit.
Okay, and be a legal resident of Nigeria.
Yes.
What is your plan when you go home? And how does your wife feel?
Work so that I could buy some land, buy some property, and start a business over here in Nigeria. I would definitely want to have land. With that? Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And she wants to come, and I'm bringing her over to the United States too. And I want to bring my wife's mother. I want to bring my wife's sister. I want to bring my wife's family.
Yeah.
And to me, that I feel like doing that is like more than anything that I could offer any American woman in the United States. And I feel like I will always have that respect.
I hate that you feel that way though, because there are so many Black American women who are loving, accepting, kind.
I haven't met them.
Did you look?
I haven't met them. I lived in the United States for 30 years. I ain't met them.
Did you leave Philly?
They too hard. They too hard on us.
Do I seem like a sister who was hard on a Black man? No, like they're there, but it's okay because God led you to your wife.
You're the first one that I met. Okay, then I got my Aunt Dawn. My Aunt Dawn is the sweetest woman in the world. It's my uncle's ex-wife. Shout out Aunt Dawn. Hey yo, what's up, Auntie? That's like my mom. And she's the sweetest woman that I've ever met.
I love that.
She is the only one that I know that gave me that unconditional love that a mother that I feel like I could have got from my mother.
So is there anyone that you plan on going to see when you get home? Is there
my cousin Elijah? What's up, Elijah? I'm coming to see you, cuz. I want to see my cousin Elijah. I want to see my kids. I do, but I don't know how that's going to work out with my baby moms. I mean, I don't know how receptive they will be of me coming, because they just hate the sporadic thing.
What if they're like, Daddy, don't leave?
Who?
Your
My
kids.
kids.
Say you go, you spend time, and they
They're
don't
not
want
allowed to talk to me to tell me that.
Say you go, you connect with them, you spend time with them, and then they don't want you to leave, though.
Nah, I don't think they would do that. I don't think they would do that. No, because I don't see my kid. Before I came to Nigeria, this time, the third time, I went and visited my daughter, and my baby mom says that because I wasn't there for her, she suffers from a lot of depression issues, and so my daughter's just not the type to be like, Daddy, don't go, don't.
You don't see it turning into.
She don't see. No, my daughter doesn't have that kind of personality. From when I told her that I'm going to Nigeria and I'll be there for a long time, I just wanted to come by and see you and stuff like that. She didn't really care.
Have y'all not thought about moving to different parts of Nigeria, because Abuja is expensive? So you're saying that you're gonna go home, save up, but Abuja is actually pricey.
Yeah,
because I know a couple of Americans who live in like Anambra, like places that are cheaper.
Right. Benin's, what is it? Benue Republic. We were thinking about going to Benue Republic, which is a different country than Nigeria, right? But there's not a specific state in Nigeria that we were talking about moving to. But I do have this dream or ambition to have a land and home in every state of Nigeria, so that I can always travel and have a place.
There's like 50 states, more. 36. Okay, amen.
Well, I wanted to buy land and I try to have a house in as many states as possible, so that we can go and visit and be at a place anytime that we travel. And then I have this ambition that I want to buy as much land in Abuja as possible. Okay. Like own Abuja as far as land. Okay. So if I hit the Mega Millions or I hit the Powerball, it's over. It's over. It's over.
Yeah. Would you consider yourself a passport bro?
Yes.
And we own that. We love that. I love Nigeria. Tell me 3 things as we wrap this up, you guys, because this has been amazing, and I want to have a revisit when you get back from the States.
Oh, no doubt.
We're gonna do a post interview as we wrap this up. Give me 3 things that you love about Nigeria.
Okay.
Being a black man here in Nigeria.
Okay, I never thought about this, so yeah, these may not be like heartfelt answers, but I really love how the dollar is very valuable over here, and I can do so much more with my money than in the United States. Okay. I love how I feel like my past, as far as what I've done in the United States, doesn't matter when I'm here. Okay. I feel like people here accept me for who I am. Okay. Maybe because I'm a foreigner. It may be because they want to know what they can get from me, or if I can take them to the United States. But they don't care about my past in the United States. And people in the United States care about your past.
So you just feel like a renewed sense of freedom, like a second chance.
Yes. Okay. Reborn, a brighter future, another chance. Yes, definitely. The third thing is I really love how I can be sure that the fruits and the vegetables and the meat that I'm eating is real. Yeah. In the United States, there's a whole bunch of that rubber fruit stuff going on. And
have you lost weight since being here?
No, because at one point I was really going to the gym and lifting heavy weights. So in fact, I packed on the weight. Okay. Kind of. I would say I maintained a good weight then, and then I fast. Sometimes I went through a stage where I was doing a lot of fasting and jogging. So my weight fluctuated up and down. Even in the United States, when I was trying to do MMA and boxing, my weight went up and down. I never really stayed at a solid weight.
Do you do cooking for your wife ever?
Yes.
You cook for her? What do you cook for her?
Red pepper chicken, Indomie, fried egg. I can do yam porridge. Yeah, but it's with her instruction. I'll cook whatever needs to be cooked, and she just tells me what to do.
What's your favorite Nigerian soup?
Egusi.
That's so standard.
If I can think of another one, cocoyam. Woo! I love cocoyam soup. I love cocoyam soup more than it's pretty close between that and the egusi, but I think I like cocoyam soup more than egusi. Yeah, now that I had a second chance to think about it.
Okay, last question. Would you take a second wife?
You want to get me in? It's hot in here. What? Why are you asking me?
Some women don't mind.
I'm sweating.
Well, no, some women don't mind.
Kind of stuff we got going on here.
It's a part of the culture. Some people have multiple wives. No? Okay, well, I'm going to take that as a no. I mean...
Well, as a man, no, I wouldn't mind.
Is that something you all have discussed or no?
Yes, we have discussed it.
Okay.
And it's a no.
It's a no.
For my wife.
Okay. That's funny. Have y'all gone to Lagos?
Never been to Lagos.
Okay, so you have a lot of
it's
exploring
definitely
to
in
do.
the future because my wife has to go there for her interview. So it's definitely
Okay.
in the future.
Well, I love that. I feel like we've learned a lot today, and I can't wait to explore more into a part 2. Were me and Precious your first American interactions here on Abuja?
Yes.
Okay.
Precious was the first Black American woman that I met here, or person that I met here in Nigeria. Yes.
Okay.
And you too. And you're the second. Yes.
It's been a long time coming, but we cousins now.
Yeah, we fam.
Amen. How can we support you? Are you on socials?
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm on Facebook. Lamonts Carlos Runner, the prodigal son, prodigal shun.
Shun.
The prodigal shun.
That sounds like a prodigal Asian man.
I
Like Shun Li.
Well, the prodigal son is a story in the Bible.
Okay.
And shun is basically like, it's like in New York, they's like
Shun.
Like what's up, shun? And they say son, like shun, and then at the same time, shun is like rebuke.
Yeah. Okay.
spiritually. So,
I see the pun.
So I really like
A double entendre.
The word play with prodigal shun. You know what I'm saying? And I got Instagram, Lamonts Runner, Lemans, RUNNER, all lowercase letters. I got TikTok, Booby Man _ runner. So if y'all want to follow me, I don't mind being monetized, but honestly, they not monetizing Nigerians. Like, if you on a Nigerian server.
But I thought you weren't a Nigerian.
If you on a Nigerian server.
I thought he wasn't a Nigerian.
On a Nigerian server, you ain't getting monetized. The VPN didn't work, don't work for me. It don't work.
I live on my VPN. Get monetized when you go home and then come back with it.
I think that when I touch down in the United States, maybe monetization tools will
You got to work towards it though. You got to do that content.
I was really working towards it before, but because they weren't monetizing Nigerians, everything that I was posting was pointless.
I don't know though. I know a lot of Nigerians who are monetized.
They had people in the United States working those accounts, don't they? They have people in different countries working those accounts, don't they? No.
Nigerians are monetized in Nigeria. I'm trying to tell you, I know a lot of YouTubers who are on Nigeria. They get paid in Naira, but I mean that's their business.
I was keeping a watch for when monetization opened up for Nigeria on Facebook, and I noticed that there was a certain change in the dashboard.
Yeah.
On Facebook, but it didn't. I was doing the weekly challenges. I was meeting them and achieving them. I stopped.
You'll apply.
I stopped.
This is your new man.
But you know what happened? My account was under restriction because I'm a troll.
You're a radical.
I used to be a troll.
See, you left out a big part of your monetization.
I used to be a troll. So they had my account on strike for like more than a year. My account was restricted.
Well, now
so
we know
it just recently I checked the dashboard that I realized that my profile is now recommendable. They removed the restricting from my account.
They let you out of Facebook.
I kept on calling them. I wasn't even in Facebook jail. It just showed that I had some kind of restriction on my account when I checked my back office, and they couldn't even give me a reason why.
Were you getting crazy on live?
I was trolling people. I'd be in the comments arguing with people, telling people, all type of sick stuff.
SMD.
I used to be a troll.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, you're new now.
But I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, you're a renewed man now. On his way back to America. I wish you the best when you go home. It's crazy times. But you're there and you're going to be long and strong. I ran home. I'm so happy to be back in Nigeria, you guys. Whew, Jesus Christ, it's crazy. Trump is there. Good luck, my brother.
Yeah, I'm really optimistic. I'm really excited. Thank you.
Yeah,
by the way.
You're going to do well.
I think I'm going to do well, especially with God on my side this time. And I definitely have like a new relationship with God. He was always there. He was always faithful.
Yeah.
And he's definitely working in my life in a way that I've never experienced before. So I'm definitely going to do my best to keep the faith and to stay in the Word and to keep praying. Fasting is a big one. I've gotten great results from fasting and praying.
Wow.
And also quoting scripture for real life situations.
Yeah, Bible study.
Not Bible study, like when you're faced with an issue, if it's a fearful issue, if something is standing in front of you, a challenge, there's a scripture that you can use to unlock, you can quote to unlock the power
But you
of
got to
God.
study the Bible to know them.
Yeah, but with Google, you can find those scriptures easy.
You're like scripture for when I
Yo.
hold on, sorry.